Welcome, guys. SGT here, and I have on the line David Quintieri, the author of The Money GPS, Guiding You Through an Uncertain Economy. A condensed version of David's book is available for free on his website, themoneygps.com. Welcome, David.
Hi, thank you very much for having me on.
Well, thanks for being here. There's so much to cover. Your book is really an entertaining read. I read the short version on your website. This audience is well informed about the philosophical differences between Austrian and Keynesian economics. You're in the Austrian camp. Like us, honest money and liberty is what we believe the world should revolve around. And your book covers the origins of money, the boom and bust cycles of the past, right up to today's worldwide economic calamities. David, where in your view do we stand right now?
Well, right now, we are in a very uncertain time. Now, I can tell you where we're headed isn't the best place. Unfortunately, our governments have extended far beyond what we are capable of. Even if you just factor in our national deficits that we're in, it doesn't look pretty. And then when you add on top the derivatives, it is just an impossible feat to overcome. I certainly believe that what's coming here will unfortunately be bad for most of us. The middle class may disappear, and unfortunately hard times are coming. If you own real assets, whatever that may be, you will be much better off than in paper investments. Paper investments, because of this derivative fraud, paper assets will be worth very little, if anything at all.
Well, actually, my second question for you was going to be about derivatives. So let's hit that, because to me, we've reached DEFCON 1 in the worldwide state of economic affairs. And I know that you believe, like we do, that derivatives is really the number one problem facing this debt-based fiat system. Can you explain for everybody why derivatives are so critical, and why the fact that they appear to be blowing up with JP Morgan's 70 to 100 trillion in derivatives on their books? Can you tell people why that's so important, and why it might mark the end of this debt-based system?
A derivative is fictional. You need something real behind our money system. Now, we don't necessarily need to use gold coins and silver coins, but it would have to be backed up in the banks, in the vaults. This is how it was for hundreds and thousands of years before this. But a derivative may not even have a single penny behind these assets at all, or supposed assets. These are completely fraudulent schemes. This is how the banks were allowed to create money out of thin air, far beyond fractional reserve banking. This is bankers who, in 1999, allowed the Glass-Steagall Act to be repealed, allowing derivatives to be created so that they can magnify their profits. And all of these are kept off books. So it is untold how many derivatives are really out there. And then when they run into troubles, they come to the governments and say, we are too big to fail, and you need to bail us out, to give us more money so that we can gamble it again.
Right. Now, you said that what's coming could be very, very bad for all of us, and it could wipe out the middle class. Now, clearly we see that that is the case. We see that that could happen. But on the other hand, could it be that a better day is coming because these banksters have put themselves in a corner and they can't get out of it? Let's take the Eurozone, for example. The euro is a currency, the EU experiment. Why is the impending implosion of the EU experiment such an important milestone for us as it relates to the possibility of us taking liberty back from the banksters who have stolen it? Because we're seeing countries reject austerity. We're seeing people stand up and say, hell no, we're not going to take this anymore. We saw what happened in Iceland as Iceland swore off the debt of the bankers. What's your take on the possibility that this could actually end much better for humanity than than we might otherwise think?
If we accept liberty, honest money, and these sort of principles, we will be better off. I believe that this world can be a much better place. if we accept the principles primarily of liberty. And if countries, for example, in the Eurozone, like you've mentioned, leave the euro and go back to their own currencies and have their own governments make their own laws instead of the EU, we can get to a better place and achieve economic growth, achieve liberty. I believe that it can happen. There are some shining moments here with the Iceland example. If we see more of those examples, we will be heading in the right direction. I agree with that.
Well, another possibility of a glimmer of hope, or that the end is near, as Zero Hedge would say, is that the Financial Times is reporting that the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers are uniting under a common group. So Rothschild Investment Trust and Rockefeller Financial Services are going to become one. What do you make of this announcement? I mean, talk about the men behind the curtain being revealed. Why would they even do this? Is it because their fiat fractional reserve global banking system is that precarious? Or is it just the next logical step in their long-established plan for global domination and one-world government? It seems they're just too out in the open now, and everybody's pointing to where the evil is.
I think they're getting very arrogant at this point. They are now hiding in plain view, as some people like to say. They're showing everything they have right now. And you could see in the Bilderberg meeting, this is just now in public view. And some people are really waking up to this, and this is a really good thing. People listening to this right now know who the Bilderberg are. 5 years ago, many people didn't know. They're coming out in the open, and this will create a divide in people, the people who are completely asleep and those of us who are completely awake. I think that the elite, as they like to refer to themselves, these people are coming out in the open, and they are arrogant, let's just say. I think it's a big mistake on their part, but we can take advantage of this. If we expose them and we follow the money, we can figure out a way to reduce their power using information.
Right, and we know that they are in a precarious situation, and the reason we know that is because J.P. Morgan Chase Manhattan, Rockefeller Bank, and J.P. Morgan is a primary dealer for the Fed. Jamie Dimon sits on the board of the Federal Reserve in New York, and the whole system is at risk as we see J.P. Morgan's derivatives book blow up. So to me, we really truly can see a quote-unquote silver bullet lining in this thing, as these too big to fail banks do fail, because they can't be saved, can they?
Ultimately, they can't. These derivatives go far beyond our GDP. There's not enough taxation that could ever save this. It's absolutely impossible.
Thanks for watching Part 1. Don't miss Part 2, and be sure to visit sgtreport.com for all of my original content and the most important daily news.